We're back for some more Cryptic Killers. This time it's the murder of a musician. So this might be my last video of the year, and if so, I wish you guys all a happy holidays and a happy new year. If you're not familiar with these types of games, there's basically a bunch of documents, sometimes some physical evidence. You go through and read everything and you try to deduce who done it. Sometimes there's online elements, whether it's just for hints or it's where you actually enter your solution. Some games get really creative with how you use the online features. So if you've seen me play before, what I usually like to do is go through and scan each document. That way I can put it on my computer. It's much easier for me to read, take notes. It's probably easier for you guys to follow along as well. So with that said, let's just get right into it. All right, so I went ahead and digitized everything. I still have the physical documents with me just in case I need to look at it. But first we can go ahead and read this back introduction here. Read the evidence, eliminate the suspects, find the killer. A murder has been committed in London's famous Monastery Road studios. Renowned saxophonist and songwriter Roland Stubby Hackett died during a recording session due to an allergic reaction, but initial forensic investigations have brought up clues to suspect foul play is at hand. There are several people connected to this case who are being treated as suspects, and due to Mr. Hackett's somewhat complicated past, many of those people have strong motives for committing the murder, or the crime, I should say. The evidence has been collected for you. It's your job to piece it all together and work out who it was that killed Stubby. There are 26 documents in this folder. In addition to the evidence found here, you will also be required to access the internet to uncover further clues found inside of a police webmail inbox. So I guess this one is just more than hints and solutions. They'll have an actual inbox here. Your mission is simple. Eliminate as many of the suspects as possible so that we can find the killer or killers and bring them to justice. Okay, so we might have some accomplices here. So estimated playing time, 3.5 hours. Usually takes me longer than that. Difficulty rating, 4.5 out of 5. Hopefully I'll be all right since I've played a few of these before. All right, let's move on. So this is the outside of the folder, which I have right here. And inside the sleeve here, there's an important note. Welcome to this immersive unsolved case file game by Cryptic Killers. A murder has been committed in London's famous Monastery Road studios. Okay, I think most of this is the same or similar to what we already read. Instructions: as a lead detective working on this case, your aim is to find the killer or killers. Finding the killers won't be easy. You'll need to familiarize yourself with all the evidence provided, including any online content that is mentioned. Internet access will be required to crack this case. So usually you don't have to do like your own research. You're just accessing their sites. Hopefully that will be the case here, because you shouldn't need any outside knowledge to solve anything. Although there have been cases in the past where you have to like Google stuff, or there might be terms or medicine or drugs that I don't know, so then I have to look it up. But this one is an allergy case, right? So there could be something I don't know. Having observed all of the evidence, it may be helpful to identify potential suspects and their motives, determine which suspect each piece of evidence belongs to, and attempt to find an alibi for as many of the suspects as possible. Through the process of elimination, we're confident that you'll bring the culprits to justice. This case file is divided into 2 parts. Okay, this is a first for Cryptic Killers, for me at least. Most of the time, you just get dumped with like all the documents. So I guess this one plays more like unsolved case files where it's split up. You must start with the envelope labeled part 1. Do not move onto the envelope marked part 2 until you have confirmed your answer to part 1. So I did see that when I was opening this. There's a huge part 1 envelope here with stuff inside, and a part 2 here also with stuff inside. So we will, of course, only go through part 1 first. Very important missing evidence, so you can download anything you're missing, and then this is just all their social media. All right, so let's go to part 1. Part 1. Please open this envelope first. Check all the contents are included, see back envelope. Complete the objectives stated in the internal memo. If you need help, see our hints page. Confirm your answer for part 1 here. Move on to part 2, envelope 2, once you have confirmed your answer. So here's the back with the evidence checklist, and also if you're missing evidence, this is how you can get it. So I think I'm gonna go through in this order. I'm just gonna try to read through everything first, maybe take some quick notes. You guys don't forget to take notes as well. And then hopefully by the time we've gone through everything, we'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and then we can try to dig into more details. So first up, we have the internal memo or memorandum. This is front and back. We have a date for the game, Tuesday, 17th of April, 2018. Detective Jordan, I'm assigning you to solve the murder of Roland Stubby Hackett, a renowned saxophonist and songwriter who died during a recording session in London's famous Monastery Road Studios yesterday morning. He died due to an allergic reaction, which seems hard to believe considering he was playing a musical instrument at the time and therefore unable to consume food that might have triggered the reaction. Okay, so I actually used to play saxophone. And immediately I'm thinking, you have that wooden reed, and that would probably be the easiest way to sabotage something. So I'm guessing it's going to be something like we're going to analyze his reed or something. Given Roland Hackett's fame and popularity, the British press is all over this story and are pushing us for a statement. Therefore, we need you to act fast and give them some answers. We think we have gathered enough evidence within this envelope, part 1, to eliminate 2 of the suspects. This is your first objective. Read through all of the evidence and eliminate 2 suspects from the following list. So it looks like there are 6 potential suspects. 1 is unknown, apparently from doorbell footage. Okay. The evidence analysis report suggests that some foul play took place during the days prior to Mr. Hackett's death. There must have been some window of opportunity for one of the suspects during the weekend. It would appear that Mr. Hackett played 2 saxophones over the course of the weekend, though it is unclear at this stage which one was where at certain times. My advice would be to start here, locate the whereabouts of each saxophone, then see if any of the suspects had access to them before ruling them out. As always, we must remain mindful that not everyone can be trusted. Therefore, written statements must either have an alibi from another written statement or must be backed up by other irrefutable evidence. Okay, so basically, if somebody says something, we can't take it at face value. It'd be crazy though, because if there are multiple suspects and they're corroborating each other, that would be even harder. Which I have played games in the past where there were 2 people involved and they were trying to cover each other. I'm just going to take a quick note that there are 2 saxophones. That seems to be something we need to focus on. We need to be seen to be acting swiftly on this case. When you think you've pieced together enough information to eliminate 2 of the suspects from the envelope labeled Part 1, please run it past me so I can prepare a statement for the press. I have listed some instructions on the front of the envelope labeled Part 1. Please read these carefully. Basically, we need to go to the site to enter our solution. The rest of the team are busy obtaining more evidence for you to analyze whilst you work on the first objective. This further evidence will arrive in an envelope labeled Part 2 a little later on. That's cool that they included in the story here. Preliminary investigations of the Hackett's smart doorbell have unearthed a few clues, one of them being signs that the front doorbell had its lock picked open. All other entrances and windows, however, did not show any signs of tampering. We've only had time to briefly review the doorbell footage, and our technician will be sending you a full breakdown of activity from the doorbell in the coming days. So I'm guessing in Part 2. One point of note before you begin, the song Mr. Hackett was recording was a new version of Final Dream, one of his most famous hits. The lyrics of the song seem to predict the nature of his death, with references to poison and hard to breathe. Interestingly, LSE's frontman Lenny Newton has previously claimed to have written those lyrics. So are they suggesting that he wrote his murder ahead of time? All That Jazz magazine have been working frantically to launch a special Stubby edition before the end of the month. They have kindly sent us a draft copy of their April edition before it gets published. Hopefully, it'll give you an insight into the somewhat complicated life of the victim. I've also sent some evidence via our new webmail system, and there's a link here, so I'm guessing we're gonna have to go here. For some reason, your email address isn't auto-populating on my machine, so I just used the standard email address format, and it doesn't seem to have bounced back. So I must have gotten it right. Okay, this must be some puzzle I have to figure out to access the webmail system. Since this will be the first time you access the new webmail system, you'll need to know your password. And from the tech control team told me that your password is and controlled. And then some of these are bold and some of them aren't. She tells me you're good at anagrams, so you won't have a problem getting in. But if you need a clue, she said, use the force. It means nothing to me, so Godspeed, Elliot. The force? Like brute force? Summary. Read all the evidence from envelope part 1, eliminate 2 suspects, read the front of envelope part 1 from further instructions, Locate the whereabouts of each saxophone throughout the course of the weekend. Oh, so do I need to do that in order to eliminate 2 suspects, or is that just an additional task? All right, well, then we have a phone number, but I think this is not a US number. And then we also have an email address. So hopefully I don't need to call or email this, but I think I will need to access this webmail system. So if I write just the bold letters, it's ANCTRLE, right? ANCTRLE. And it's an anagram. So is this supposed to make another word? What other words could this be? Would it be music related or someone's name? Okay, well, I'll come back to this. I don't want to spend time right now because we have a lot of evidence to go through in the meantime. Next, we have the forensic findings. So we have our date, the 16th of April. And then, of course, Roland Hackett, our victim, male, 60 years old, 165 centimeters, 75 kilograms. There's no toxicology? Maybe not yet. Maybe this is just the initial one. So, of course, no external injuries because they suspect he was poisoned, which doesn't make sense why we don't have the toxicology. Summary of injuries. No visible injury, as the coroner conducted the inquiry into the death of the deceased, and after considering the evidence to date, I present the following findings. Cause of death. Lack of oxygen to the vital organs as a result of blocked airways. So that sounds more like allergic reaction, right? Not so much poison. Manner of death, possible anaphylaxis. Mucus plugging and hyperinflated lungs suggest that the victim was exposed to allergens, causing his respiratory tract to constrict. Yeah, so something he was allergic to. So maybe we need to find out what he was allergic to and then who had access to whatever that was, who had access to the saxophones. All right, so I think we're getting somewhere. Let's move on. This looks kind of creepy. This is Ding Dong. It's the doorbell camera. We have a date and time. It was really early in the morning. I'm not sure what else to gather from this. We see a car. There's something weird about the eyes. Obviously, it's someone with long hair. I don't want to assume anything else. Could be fake too. Could be a wig. Just trying to zoom in here if I can notice anything else that sticks out. Can't really see anything else. Okay, we'll definitely come back to this. Next, we do have a page from webmail. This is also on the 16th, but this is at night. So recatch. Well, okay, first of all, let me see. Did we have the time of death? The report is on the 17th, but this is on the 16th. The doorbell is also on the 16th, but early in the morning. And then the email's on the 16th at night. So I think it's the 16th, but I don't know what time yet. Anyways, this is Mary Ann Potts to you. So we'll see who they address. It looks like M.A. I don't know who that is. Oh, no, wait, that's M.A. is Mary Ann Potts. So you is Laura Morrill. So it says, hey, glad to say I managed to get everything sorted with the broadband. So it'd be nice to do a video chat sometime. Don't worry about it. It's been a busy week for me too. Sorry to hear about your car. If you ever need any sort of pound help or money help, I'm only a phone call away. I did have a sneaky peek on social media and saw your posts Friday night. The food looked yummy, and so did he. Let me know when you're free to video chat. M.A. All right, I'm just going to quickly tag some names here. I'd probably want to figure out what date is Friday in 2018. I'm not sure if it mentioned it already. I might have to look at a calendar. Okay, so if we're in April, the 16th is on a Monday. So I'm just going to take a quick note of that. I'm going to write it in the US way here. I'll just leave that somewhere in the middle here as a reference. That would make it Friday the 13th. So I think there are going to be some social media postings later, but for now, let's keep reading this thread. Oh, duh. I didn't need to look it up. It says it right here. Okay, so Saturday the 14th. Hello, sorry about the wait. It's been a busy week. Actually, I should be reading it the other way around, huh? Yeah, let's read the first email first. So on Saturday the 7th, okay, so this is a couple weeks back. Hey, sorry for not being in touch for so long. Things have been a little hectic lately. Still getting adjusted to life here and have no Wi-Fi, so I'm writing this from a cafe. How are things going back in England? Hope all is well. You must come and visit ASAP. How is Eve? Send her my love. Are you still Eve sharing at weekends with Roland? Okay, so I'm guessing an ex-wife. Has he actually made an effort yet with getting her from school? It's quite a drive for you from your house to Primrose Hill, and you know I dislike the man as much as you do. M.A. Okay, so let's see. Let's take some notes here. There's probably going to be more documents that will confirm this, but I think Laura is the ex-wife and there's a daughter named Eve. Don't know who Mary Ann is yet. And it sounds like Mary Ann is somewhere else while Laura is back in England. So now Laura responds, hello, sorry about the wait. It's been a busy week. So nice to hear from you. Send some photos, please. It'd be great to visualize you in your new setting. All is fine here. Same old, really. Would definitely love to come visit someday, but it'll probably be a while before I can get the cash together. It won't be anytime soon, that's for sure. I have got to fork out to fix the car. The windscreen cracked. I don't know why, but I for some reason, I think that's an important clue. Thankfully, I was able to get J-Lo to the garage. Is that what she names her car? But she's out of action for the whole weekend. Had a rather annoying experience with the boiler too, so that's my balance back to zero again. But it's not all bad news. I had my date with Chris last night. Last night, yes, that would be Friday, which went very well. We went to a nearby Thai restaurant. Hadn't had Thai food in ages. I never had it with Roland because there's a lot of peanuts in it, and there was too much risk of his allergies playing up. Well, so he said. Thankfully, Chris is only allergic to neoprene, so the only thing off the menu for him is wetsuits. I know, it probably wasn't sensible to go out for a fancy meal when I'm practically broke, but don't worry, I told him if he got this one, I'd get the next one. Eve is doing fine, she's still my daughter, and I'm still her mother. That's not going to change, though I know Ro and Sue are doing their best to make her forget that. Who is Ro? Roland? I don't know who Sue is, maybe the next wife? She's so young that she's bowled over by all that extravagance. Hope everything comes together for you. Knowing you, I bet your flat already looks cute and homely. Love and kisses, L. Okay, and then we already read this one. So, lots of information here. So I did notice a car in that ding dong, whatever it was called, screenshot. And if she didn't have a car at the time, that could be somewhat of an alibi. And then, of course, one of the most important things is that Roland is allergic to peanuts. All right, I think we got a pretty good amount of info here. Let's move on. So next we have an album cover, Stubby Hackett, Final Dream, the first solo EP from the latest sound experiences, Stubby Hackett. A-side, Final Dream. B-side, Giant's Causeway, Bowl of Petunias. Wait, what? And then I think these are the lyrics that we are interested in. This thing is kind of creepy, huh? It's like a eye peeking through a frame or a wall. Oh, and I noticed it's here as well. There's a skull here, and of course a lady smoking. Okay, let's read these lyrics. You took me for a walk. It was no way to go. The streets ran back, the sights unseen. Down was high and up was low. The final dream runs through my mind. I'm pretty sure I saw it before. Chances to find have been left behind. Sailing upstream to reach the shore. Are these gonna be like directions or something? We walked and talked amongst the trees, but I couldn't move my teeth. The words I wrote stuck in my throat and made it hard to breathe. The final dream runs through my mind. I'm pretty sure I saw it before. The light of day now fades away. I'm heading for the door. Forever lost within the woods, in a maze of sycamore, poison ivy wraps around me and it pulls me to the floor. The final dream runs through my mind. I'm pretty sure I saw it before. The dream's so near, but I can't see clear. There won't be any more. Right? So if we ever need to track something, maybe these are directions. I don't know. Let's move on. Next, we have a letter from Bill Kaplan, nonfiction editor of Adlai Rockhopper Books, or ARB for short. It's on Monday the 9th. Dear Mr. Hackett, I'm afraid to say that while we were excited about your idea for a biography of Stubby Hackett and very impressed by your manuscript, We have encountered opposition from his legal team who insist Mr. Hackett will not allow for such a book in his lifetime. Wait, I'm confused. Who's Mr. Hackett? And then what's going on here? Apparently, they took issue with some of the more scandalous aspects of the manuscript, which they claim are damaging towards the character of their client. I'm sorry, but due to the threat of legal proceedings, we shall not be progressing any further with the book while the subject is still alive. What's going on? So, Mr. Hackett won't allow Mr. Hackett to publish something? Okay, I don't know. I'm not understanding this. Is there something I'm missing? I'm guessing Roland doesn't want it published, right? Well, it's a biography and not an autobiography. So it's not him, it's not Roland who's trying to write it, right? It's someone else. So of course the reason why he doesn't want it is because there are scandalous aspects throughout the manuscript. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Let's move on. Actually, I want to make sure I write this question because there's some other Mr. Hackett. I think this is someone else, right? It's not Roland. Okay, let's move on. Next, we have evidence analysis. So there is a saxophone reed. So it's a standard cane saxophone reed, 7 centimeters. The substance found on Mr. Hackett's saxophone reed, see attached photo, has been confirmed to be unrefined peanut oil, which contains peanut proteins. Our hypothesis is that the reed had been soaked in it beforehand, thus the reed absorbed some of it, enough so that when Mr. Hackett came to wet the reed on Monday morning, it triggered his allergies. Okay, so now we have more of a time of death, right? Or at least when he was exposed to it. I don't know how long it takes. Analyzing the fatal reed, it is clear the reed had definitely been soaked in the peanut oil. The liquid had seeped into the cane. It had not simply been quickly dipped in and out of the oil. I'm not a musician, but a quick glance at the internet shows that these reeds can be easily obtained online. Further analysis of both saxophones Mr. Hackett used over the weekend did not provide any further irregularities. The mouthpiece of the tenor sax did contain a few tiny fibers, such as from a cotton bud, but we're unsure if this is of any significance. Ooh, don't leave any stone unturned. And of course, no fingerprints. I don't know why they would leave such evidence like that, especially if it was dipped in the oil. All right, so we have the soaked reed that was soaked for a while. And then of course, these fibers of cotton bud. I don't know if that will come up again. Just make a note just in case. Next, we have a reward card from Aqua Rocks, and it's an actual, Next, we have a reward card from Aqua Rocks, and it's an actual physical card here. Pretty good material actually. And in the back, under the name, someone wrote Nelly Mercier. I don't see anything else on here. No fingerprints or anything, unless we're gonna get some sort of black light. Yeah, don't see anything else on the physical card. We'll see if this name holds any significance. Next, we have record of communications from a smartphone. I'm not sure whose phone this is, but we do have a number here. Device owner TBC. What does TBC mean? Okay, let's just read the texts. So this is on Friday, the 13th, and we're only seeing. Oh, okay. So this is from. This is the other number. Hey, are you around tonight? We're gonna see that new film. So somebody texted this person, and then they replied, no, can't. I'm going up to London to see that rat of a man. Okay, I'm guessing they're referring to Roland. The famous trumpeter? Why? You hate him. Saxophonist. Yes, I do. You know the story about how he ditched my mom on a spur. Not that I'm a massive fan of her either. I like my siblings though, so it'll be nice to see them. I like my siblings. Okay. It could be just talking about this person's siblings not related to Roland. Oh wait, ditched my mom. This could be the daughter? He's 60 years old, right? So this, I don't know, this could be the daughter. I like my siblings though. There's no mention of other children, but let's just keep going. So the incoming, yes, I remember that story well, and many others. Get rid of that man. What's up with your mom? And then this person said, I'm gonna do it this weekend. He's dead to me. How have I ended up with such crap parents? Mom is constantly trying to brainwash Eve. I'm sick of it. It's one thing after another. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, because I thought Eve Oh, could be the sibling. Eve is this person's sibling. Call me when you're free. Let's blast some steam together. Okay, I don't think much of this will mean anything to me until I figure out whose numbers are these. And one ending 6737, the one whose records these are, could be Roland's child, another child besides Eve, maybe Eve's sibling. We'll see. Next, we have some social media posts. So this, they mentioned about that Friday night dinner. Is that something here? I see Chris, but I don't see Lana anywhere. Wait, let's just go through one by one. I need to go back and see the list of the suspects again, so make sure I'm recognizing their names. So I'm just gonna make it really big right here. So we have Esther Hackett, Laura Morrill, we've seen her name, Joshua Hackett. Oh, is Esther the same as Eve? Or is this the wife? Well, and then we have a Sue Denim, unknown suspect, and Lenny Newton. Okay, so Chris is not a suspect. I don't see Eve here either. And we have two Hacketts, but Laura is a suspect. Oh yeah, that's right. Laura is, we think, the ex-wife. And then these are the children. So is one of these, I'm guessing Esther's Eve, and then Joshua is the phone records that we just saw. But let's keep moving. So we have Ben Goodrich, he's not a suspect. Last day at Glasgow CF Con, just bumped into Chris and he signed my book. He's a cool guy. So Chris is an author. Then we go down here, live check-in. Chris is at the Dusty Bagpipe Steakhouse with Stephen Queen. And this is on the 15th. Oh wait, it's going backwards here. Yeah, maybe I should start at the bottom. Okay, Mike Webb. I'm at the Jubilee Gates, Regent's Park. There's a man in sunglasses playing sax. Legit think it could be Stubby Hackett. Nick O'Hara, you're not wrong at Mikey Spider. That was him by the gates today playing his tenor. I'm his agent. And then Bill says at Chris, and then sunglasses. Mike Webb, no way at Nick. Defoe's getting a pic with him next time at Bill. What? Okay, so apparently he was playing, that places his saxophone there, right? Okay, let's make a note of that. Sorry, I did say I was gonna try to go through this quickly, but I don't wanna miss any important clues here. So this is at what, 3:46 p.m. Okay, let's keep going. John Baxter just met Chris at London City Airport. We're both on the last flight of the day. So Chris is not a suspect though, right? Unless it's an alias. Chris is the, someone's dating Chris, right? Okay, Angus Robertson. First night as porter at the Kilt and Thistle Hotel. Got a big tip from a man with a long curly fringe. Think he might be famous. Any idea who he is? What was he wearing? Jacket, jeans, beige trainers, and had a duck egg suitcase and old backpack. Sounds like Chris. Saw a post on his feed earlier. He's a writer, but only us bookworms would know. Oh, is this him? Is this what he's describing? Miriam Poole, at the Chris Live Readathon. He's been reading since 9 a.m. and he's going until 6 p.m. tonight. He's doing the same tomorrow too. Why does it seem like they're trying to give details about Chris's whereabouts? But I don't think he was a suspect. But the 14th is, this is the day that she was supposed to go on a date with Chris, right? So Chris is at the Harry Scotsman with Stephen Queen and Bill Shakespeare. And this is at 10:13. So when would he have been able to go on this date? And doesn't have any pictures as well. And it was a Thai restaurant too, right? So Chris is donating all of the proceeds of his 2-day readathon to us. Thank you. He's a great guy. Only 3 hours left of his epic readathon. I'm there and watching live. And he's at Steakhouse and then whatever. Okay. So I think that's what they're trying to say, is that he ain't go on no date. I'm going to put a question mark because there is a gap. He says his show goes until 6 p.m. and then his next check-in is at 10 p.m. So there's 4 hours in between. He could have gone. Maybe I should make a note of that. Okay. So there is a gap there. We'll see. Let's move on for now. I think I spent more time than I wanted on this. All right, next we have some witness statements, and there's a lot of reading here. I'm going to try to go through it as best as I can. Whenever there's handwriting or like handwriting fonts, it's always harder for me to read, so please bear with me here. First up, we have Esther Hackett. She's over 18, a student. So statement of events. Dad called about a month prior saying he wanted me to join him along with all my other siblings for his 60th birthday dinner. Can't say I was super up for the idea. My relationship with him wasn't really all that great, but I can get on well with my siblings, so I thought they might make it okay. Plus, having eaten like a student for months, I was partly swayed by the offer of a fancy dinner. So on the Friday evening, I took the train up from Exeter to Paddington and then the tube to Swiss Cottage. I got there around the same time as Joshua, my older brother. He talked about a project of his that he was working on with Dad, or rather had been. Apparently, Dad hadn't liked the work Joshua had done. We got to Dad's house at about 6. None of us have keys anymore, so when we rang the doorbell, we were greeted by Sue, my dad's new wife. Okay, so that's who Sue is. I haven't known her for that long. We're not really that close, but she's fine enough. She does have a slight air of a diehard fan that got lucky and managed to marry the man himself, but she's harmless. Eve was also there too. Dad was upstairs in his studio. Sue had to go to get him. The sound of that old bell ringing brought back memories. Wait, so they don't explain Eve either. They just explain that Eve and Joshua are siblings. But who is Eve? It just says Eve was there too. I dropped my bag off in the hallway and then we all drove straight to the tapas restaurant where we were having dinner. It was one of Dad's favorites. The conversation around dinner started off okay. General pleasantries about how people were doing, how our days have been, what they had been up to since last time we were together, that sort of thing. But, well, tensions soon bubbled to the surface. It started when I asked Joshua about the conference he was going to, and Dad was apparently oblivious that Joshua also writes murder mysteries. Though, to be fair, he does write under a pen name. Okay, now we know why Chris was so important. Wait a second. If he's Chris, who's Chris dating? So who's Lana? Wait a second. What's going on here? Heck, Dad was unaware Joshua was an Agatha Christie fan. Joshua seemed pretty hurt that Dad didn't know these basic things about him. To her credit, Sue tried to change the subject, but I think the damage had been done. Okay, I gotta take some quick notes here. One thing that sticks out is when I sprinkled some salt over my food. When I went to shake the salt cellar, I found out the hard way someone had unscrewed the top, which flew off and all the salt poured out. That someone was my sister Eve. Okay, finally, we know who Eve is. I mean, I kind of already figured that they're all siblings, but this confirmed it. So that someone was my sister Eve who burst out laughing when it happened. Not that I was mad at her, well, maybe a bit, but then she is 6. So what are you gonna do? Oh, okay, so way young. All right, I guess, yeah. Esther is a student and she's over 18, so huge age gap here. I decided to go along with it and pretended I was furious, playing up my anger to try and make her laugh. I asked her who taught her to do that, and she said Mum had. I swear all Mum has to do is say, "This is a fun trick," and Eve does it. Which mum is this? Is this the new mum or the ex-mum? Well, not the ex-mom, the ex-wife. That girl would jump into a bonfire if Mom said it was a good idea and promised a reward for doing it. Besides, I thought parents were supposed to discourage that sort of behavior, not encourage it. I wouldn't have been allowed to get away with pranks when I was a kid. I think I noticed Dad make sure the pepper shaker had his lid screwed on because it doesn't take much to make him start sneezing. Anyway, after dinner, Joshua went his own way. I took Sue's spare key as I was taking Eve bowling. A couple of my friends joined us too. Dad and Sue went straight to Dad's gig. We had one round of bowling and then Eve and I went back to Primrose Hill. I was woken up during the night by someone walking about. The clock on the bedside table said it was 2 o'clock. The next day, I said goodbye to Dad, Sue, and Eve and met up with some friends who are at Greenwich Uni and stayed Saturday and Sunday night with them. I got the train back to Exeter yesterday morning. Okay, that is a lot of details in those last 2 paragraphs or sections. So here I'm just going to write like Esther's alibi or something. I'm not going to write all the details here. And this 2 o'clock might coincide with the doorbell camera screenshot that we had. Okay, let's move on. Next, we have a statement from Eve Hackett Morrill, who is 6 years old. Written with the assistance of Staff Child Liaison Officer Kay Hill. Mom picked me up after school. She had to speak with my teacher for a while and then took me to Dad's house. It was a mom weekend. But since it was my dad's birthday, we swapped around the order. So instead of it going mom, dad, it went mom, dad, mom, dad. Sue was in the kitchen when I got there, using her laptop. I found some paper, went outside the front and drew a picture of me and Daddy. They let me go out the front as long as we can always see each other through the window. Then Sue took me for a walk in the park. We found Dad playing his saxophone by the big gates. He was playing, I think it was the bigger one. Okay, so the tenor sax. Dad calls it the 10-pound sax. Oh, so I think this is important for the reed size because different saxophones have different reed sizes, right? So I'm gonna take a note here. Before I got there, I had put on a buzzer Mom had bought me. I shook his hands and he got a shock. Don't worry, it was only a little one. It was really funny and Sue laughed too. Dad pretended to be cross, but I could tell he also found it funny. Mom had bought me lots of tricks that day. She likes to play tricks just like me. Then I showed him the drawing I did earlier. He really liked it, but Sue took it off him really quickly. That's weird. Did she draw someone else in that photo? I don't know. Or the drawing, I mean. I'm learning the recorder at school. Maybe one day I'll make music just like Dad. Recorders don't have reeds though, unlike saxophones. Maybe my dad should have been a recorder player because he's always breaking his saxophone reeds. He told me he needed to buy more because he only had one left. Interesting. Okay, so let's see how he got more. We went for a walk because it was very sunny. We walked past an ice cream van and Dad bought us all ice creams. Then we went home. I watched TV until Joshi and Esthi got there. Dad has a really cool TV. The sound comes from all around you when you watch. We all got in Dad's car and drove to the restaurant. They make the food, which is the thing that Dad likes, where instead of having one big food, you have lots of little foods. So the tapas, right? I don't see why that's better, but it still tasted nice. But the talk at the table got boring and I didn't really listen too much. The most fun part was at one bit, I unscrewed the top of the salt shaker. When Esty shook some salt on her food, it came all out. It was really funny. I did it to the pepper too. Mom said Dad is very sneezy, more than regular people, and I thought it would be funny to see if I could make him sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. But Dad didn't fall for it. He's very smart. He made sure the top was screwed on. For dessert, I had something called a tiramisu. Sue was worried it'd keep me up all night, but Dad said I could have it. Don't know why a cake would keep me awake, but it was very tasty. After the food, Joshi left and Dad and Sue went out. Esty took me bowling, and when we got back home to Dad's, she fell asleep in the hallway. She fell asleep in the hallway? Okay, let me go back to her statement after I finish this. When Dad and Sue got home, Sue was very cross with Esty. Dad took me upstairs to bed, but I was woken up during the night by someone walking about. It was 2 o'clock. The hands of my clock glow in the dark, so that's how I could tell. That's consistent. The next day, Dad and Sue helped me get ready with my things. I asked them why they weren't taking anything away to their other house. Dad said it was because they have everything there already. They took me to Aunt Marie's house and I stayed there until I had to go to school on Monday. Aunt Marie's house is really cool. She has a swimming pool. Okay, I don't know about any of the last part here. Oh, I did want to check because Esther fell asleep in the hallway, right? I took Sue's spare key as I was taking Eve bowling, and a couple of friends joined us too. So here it says, I was woken up during the night by someone walking about. The clock on the bedside table said it was 2 o'clock. So she doesn't mention anything about falling asleep in the hallway. Okay, I don't know. Maybe that is an important detail, but I'm just going to keep moving. Now we have Joshua Hackett, who's over 18. I got the phone call from Roland. Why does he call him Roland? Isn't he the dad? Okay, so he calls him Roland. I got the phone call from Roland about a month before that he wanted to spend his 60th birthday with all his kids. I've never been particularly fond of the guy. Yes, biologically he is my father, but he never acted the part. but I thought it'd be an hour or two and I'd get a free meal out of it. And considering how much money he has, it'd probably be really tasty. It's similar to Esther, I guess. And it's not as if he's out and out nasty, just a jerk. My brother Isaac was in Toronto and was too busy to fly back to London. Well, busy, and also he didn't like Roland enough to bother spending the money on a plane ticket. Okay, so I guess there's another brother, Isaac, but it's out of the picture here, so not important as far as the case goes. So that day I left around 5 o'clock and got to Roland's house at about 6. Commuter train up to London Victoria and then tube the rest of the way. Got to Swiss Cottage station at the same time as my half-sister Esther. Oh, okay. I don't know how important these details are about the times they left, the stops, and wherever they're going. I'm just going to make a note that the details are there and I can reference them. So half siblings with Esther. She's pretty cool. We get on well. We got to Roland's house, rang the bell, and waited at the front door. It's all very cordial. Eve was there and she's very cute. She shook my hand and she had one of those shock buzzer things on. I guess she spends all her pocket money down at the jokes shop. I had met Roland's new wife at their wedding and I took an almost instant dislike to her, but I tried to be better that day, you know, open-minded and all that. Does she really love Roland? I doubt it. Roland was upstairs getting ready. Sue had to go up and tell him it was time to go. The stairs in that house are so creaky we could hear her walk all the way up from the front door. Creaky stairs? Is that important? I think I remember him saying once that he liked it that way, that it gave the house character or something. Gave us all, what is this? Tinnitus is what it is. Looking back on it, I think he liked it because it meant he could tell if anyone was going up to his studio before they got there. So he could preemptively shout, "Go away, I'm busy," down the stairs at them. Rarely would he let anyone else into his private sanctuary. Studio on the second floor. So that means if Esther fell asleep in the hallway, she would have heard the creaky stairs, but she didn't. And then same thing with Eve. She would have heard the creaky stairs. He's even got one of those old school bells that rings whenever the door is open so he can hear it from anywhere in the house. It's where he'd go to write songs and get away from the world. As such, he was very insistent that nobody but him was allowed in there. We all got in his car and drove to the restaurant where we were eating. I'm guessing it's a favorite of Roland's because all the staff seemed to know him like he was their most valued customer. Dinner was very tasty. While it probably wasn't the fanciest restaurant around, the food was delicious without a doubt. However, conversation at the dinner table wasn't always the best. Sue always found a way to bring the conversation back to herself. She wasn't interested in Roland at all. I was telling Roland about the convention I was going to, and suddenly she interrupted and changed the subject completely to something entirely different. When Eve played a prank on Esther, it buffs Sue to make it all about her again. I don't know if Roland's rewritten his will since he married her, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's had him rewrite it so she gets every single penny. Esther was pretty quiet as I recall. Don't know why, probably just enjoying the food or just listening, or maybe she just couldn't get a word in any edgeways with Sue. This one's the most hard to read so far. Either way, when the evening ended, I said my goodbyes and went my own way. Okay, that was consistent. Okay, a couple more to go. Next we have Laura Morrell, I don't know. She's over 18, of course. Office assistant. Oh yeah, and for Joshua, it says NA, but I thought he's a writer. But maybe they're trying to keep that a secret from the game. You have to figure that out. Okay, so this, I'm thinking, is the ex-wife. I don't know how old she is. Friday afternoon, I picked up Eve from school and drove her round to Roland's house in Primrose Hill. Really, it should have been my weekend, but Roland was having a significant birthday, so we swapped. During my lunch break that day, I had popped into a shop near my office that sells novelty and joke toys, and I bought a couple to give to Eve. Okay, so when they refer to mom, I think they are referring to Laura here. Only a few little things. I didn't want to spoil her like Roland does, but she does get a lot of fun out of them. At 3:15, I went to Eve's school to pick her up. Her teacher, Mr. Wright, made me come in for a little chat about Eve's behavior. He rattled on about how Eve was badly behaved, being disruptive, teasing the other kids, winding them up, etc. I paid him lip service about how I'd take steps to help. Eve improved her behavior, but I think he was just making a mountain out of a molehill because there's nothing wrong with Eve's behavior. I've never seen her misbehave. I think that's a bit subjective there. Sure, she's a little cheeky sometimes, but then what 6-year-old isn't? Anyway, I said the things I thought he wanted to hear and drove on to Roland's place. When we got to Primrose Hill, just before Eve got out of the car, I surprised her with the things I bought during my lunch break. Her favorite was the palm buzzer. I hoped it would annoy Roland and that skunk new wife of his. May Dupp or Faye Caname? Whatever her name is. I thought it was Sue. Okay, hold on. What are the suspect names again? Oh, it is okay. It is Sue Denim. She's just not remembering it. But I didn't stay long there. I never do. The area sickens me. The people there just rub their wealth right in your face. Can't believe I put up with it for so long. During the drive home, the windscreen on my car cracked. Thankfully, I was able to get it to a local garage before they closed, but it meant I had to leave it there for the weekend. After that, I went home, watched some TV, and got ready for my date. Chris, his name was. We went out for the Thai food. I love Thai food. I never got to eat it when I was married to Roland because it was too much of a risk. 20 years of bland food almost drove me mad, I tell you. So they were married for 20 years. I don't know if that's really important for the case, but I just want to take a note. And again, she's mentioning the same thing as in the email, the date with Chris, which is weird because Chris is the author in the social media posts. And well, I guess now Joshua is a half sibling, but how many wives did Roland have? Unless Esther, no, because it sounds like Eve is the daughter of Sue and the only one, right? And then Esther and Joshua, I thought, were Laura's kids, but apparently Esther and Joshua are half siblings. So maybe, I don't know. Let's just keep going. I'm just thinking Joshua is not Laura's son because she would recognize her own son if they were going on a date, but she would recognize Joshua anyways, right? She would have seen him enough to know that's him. Okay, I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's just finish this. The rest of the weekend was pretty standard and uneventful. Sunday, I met up with some friends, but that was pretty much it. Monday rolled around as it always inevitably does, and it was back to work again. No call from Eve's school asking where is she, thankfully, but I did get a text from another mom saying Roland had his driver chauffeur Eve to school again. I hate the thought of Eve growing up in that world of luxury. She always seems so wowed by it. Is it wowed or wooed? No, wowed. Okay, well, she kind of confirms this date or whatever, but basically I think what we're getting at is that he was performing in the park, and that's kind of where we need to narrow it down to see who was there, who could have swapped the reeds. But another thing too they mentioned was that he only had one reed left, so he had to get more reeds, and I think that would be the means, right? Someone providing reeds to him. But so far there's no mention of that. Okay, the next one is a 3-pager. And it's by Sue, the new wife. Friday was Rose's birthday. At 9:30 a.m., we went over to Monastery Road Studios to record Final Dream. He was playing sax and I was singing. Oh, okay, so she's a singer. Oh yeah, it says occupation singer. So he was playing sax and I was singing with Lisa and Tony working in the booth. We did several takes and we tried to get as much work done as we could. At 2, we were both worn out, so we called it a day. My part was in the bag, and so was all of Rose's tenor sax part, but he wanted to play both tenor and alto sax parts for the recording, so he was going to record his next bit at the following studio session. Okay, so I think this is what's important now. We know that he finished his tenor sax parts, so the saxophone that's in question would be the alto sax. Wait, what day is his birthday? Is it that Monday? Wait, I think the birthday can't be Monday because the ex-wife says she dropped off the daughter, then went on the date, which that would have been Saturday. So I think, yeah, he finished his tenor part. So I don't think he would have touched the tenor sax again. But then again, at the park, the Eve said that he was playing the bigger one. Okay, I'm reading too much into it. Let's just finish this. Maybe I'm not reading too much into it, but I'm going in too much into it. But let's just move on. We went back home and had a late lunch. After that, I caught up with my correspondence while Ro worked on some songs for a bit. He was working upstairs in his studio, up in a loft space he converted. But then he got bored and went to play his sax in the park. So that is the missing piece right there that I was wondering. I'm just trying to take a note here to remember that he came home, was in his studio, and then left to the park. So I'm trying to wonder when someone can mess with his reeds, because they had to have soaked it in for a while. This goes back to what I was saying before. I forget who said it, but he only had one reed left. Seconds after Ro left, Ro's ex-wife Laura turned up to drop off Eve. She's pretty frosty. If it weren't for the sound of her car, you'd assume Eve just magically materialized there. I was watching from the window because just right, Laura's car is quiet. Oh no, if it weren't for the sound of her car. So they're saying Laura is quiet or sneaky. I don't know. What are they trying to say? The car is loud? I don't know. I'm just going to take as many notes and just keep going. Okay, I was watching from the window. Laura gave Eve something, and then the two of them spent a while talking. So this is the gift of the tricks. When Eve came in, I asked what they were talking about, to which she said, "Oh, it's a secret." Anyway, I watched her for a bit when I continued with my letters. I had to tell her off for trying to go into Ro's studio at one point. It's very hard to make her sit still. I managed to convince her to go off and draw a picture. As soon as I was done, I took her for a walk to join Ro in the park, where we found him playing by the gates. He said he had broken a reed and needed to buy more because he was down to his last one. Okay, so he broke his reed and then he had one left. And then he was going to buy more. So it could be that last one that was dipped in the peanut oil. We both enjoyed watching him play. I think he's inspiring Eve to follow in his footsteps because she started asking Ro all about how his sax works. She seemed fascinated. After we came home, Ro went upstairs to start getting ready for the gig that evening. Esther and Joshua turned up later around 6. Joshua was okay, kind of aloof, but pleasant enough. It's Esther though. She's the one I have a problem with, or rather, she has a problem with me. The girl hates me. She hates my very being. She thinks Rose should still be with her mother. Okay, so Laura is Esther's mom. So she thinks Rose should still be with her mother. She's angry that Rose remarried after their divorce. She holds it against him. Oh, you know what? I was thinking Joshua could be Sue's kid from another marriage, but why would he take on Roland's name? That doesn't make sense. She holds it against him. She probably considers it a betrayal or something. Totally irrational thinking, especially to hold it against me as well. But I guess she's still young. Give it a couple years and she'll start thinking rationally. We drove down to Raoul's, Ro's favorite restaurant. Ro had said beforehand he was hoping to use his dinner to reconnect and rebuild bridges with Joshua and Isaac. And I have to say he did a pretty good job of it. Isaac, alas, was in Ontario or someplace, but he sent a card. But he and Joshua seemed to be connecting. Ro was really interested in Joshua's new job. Esther, on the other hand, just sulked for the whole evening. When Eve played a harmless prank, she flew off the handle at her. No, but she was just messing around. I had to step in and calm her down before she made Eve cry. Oh, this is, okay, completely different take. When the meal was finished, Joshua went his own way. Esther took Eve bowling. I didn't really agree with this as it was getting late. However, she did say it was only for one game and she doesn't get to see her London friends often, so I let the matter go. Ro had his sax on him when we went straight to the Lemon Leopard Club from Raoul's. I'd say it was around 8 p.m. when we left Raoul's. Okay, now we're getting some really more important details. I'm just gonna say dinner. Left dinner, 8 p.m., straight to Lemon Leopard, I think. Lemon Leopard. Later on, when Ro and I arrived back at the house, we were greeted by Esther, who was slurring her words. She said they had been back for a while. Hard to believe she only went for one. Ro took Eve off the bed. Esther followed. I emptied the car into the hallway, then went to bed. The next morning, Esther went off by herself pretty early, probably embarrassed by the previous night's antics. Ro and I dropped Eve off with Ro's sister, and we drove onto Ro's country house outside Henley. Monday morning, we made our way back from Henley. We were in a bit of a rush to get to the recording session. Ro popped into the house to quickly collect his alto sax from his loft studio. Then I drove us to Monastery Road. On the way, Ro was checking his phone and noticed that the doorbell motion sensor had been triggered in the early hours of the morning. When he opened up the notification, we saw that someone had broken into the house. Originally, we thought they must have been scared off by something because the doorbell footage showed them leaving empty-handed. Given that the saxophones hadn't been taken, we decided to carry on with the recording session and deal with lifting a crime reference number afterwards. Of course, now I'm thinking they weren't there to steal from us. They were up to something far more sinister, like dipping some reeds in some peanut oil. Okay, so then I think it had to have happened in the house because he left his alto sax there. Okay, well, I think we have a few more bits of evidence to go through, so we'll just keep on moving. So next was this magazine. I, of course, went through all the pages and got them here. So I'm just going to try to go through this very, very quickly. I'm not sure what kind of information we need about Roland here, but we'll see. So in the front, Stubby's Rehash Edition, Best of Stubby Collection, all that jazz. There's a wedding, some reunion, the manager, and then obituary. Wait, when was this? In April. Oh, this is after he died? Oh, the fourth time. Okay. So for sure, Joshua could be from a previous marriage. So Stubby Hackett and Sue wed. Stubby Hackett got married for the fourth time as he and his girlfriend, singer Sue, tied the knot in wherever yesterday afternoon. This is August 31st, so he got married on August 30th, a year before. They said they wanted a low-key ceremony. They made it clear it was not a decision they were making on a whim. I don't know how much this is important, but I'm just going to skim through this. So he had his first marriage to Lucy Tate, which only lasted 9 months. And both later admitted it was an impulse decision. They didn't even dress up. They just went to the registry office. They went public 2 years ago. Oh, with their relationship. Rumors grew even stronger when they merged the rights to their music under whatever. So does that mean like she would have a lot to gain if he died? Is that what they're trying to say? So the divorce, the two were seeing each other date back to 2011. Oh, so he was already cheating, in which she stated that the breakdown in their marriage was due to Stubby's affair with Sue. Yeah, okay. Stubby dodged all questions about his previous relationships. I want to know who is Joshua's dad. Or mom, I should say. Mom. I want to know who's Joshua's mom. So she had legally adopted her stage name, meaning she's no longer Nellie Mercier. Ah, okay. That is important. Sue equals, because that was on the rewards card for Aqua Rocks. Stubby said he hadn't done the same thing, however, and Stubby still remains Mr. Roland Hackett's nickname and stage name. Okay. Let's go on to the next page. So he's used to busking in his past. Sorry, you guys can pause if you want to like read the whole thing. I'm just skimming through it. But here it says, although the band's members have made it no secret that the words never really meant anything, the letters are the whole point. After being turned away by the university, band founder and pianist Lenny Newton stated he got his revenge by stealing their name. So yeah, Hackett, they're talking about some band. I think LSE is the name of the band. Latest Sound Experience. So Hackett left the band. The band stumbled on, but soon decided to go their own ways. Fans hoped a reunion were dashed after a fierce court battle turned Hackett and Newton into bitter rivals. But it seems the two men were able to put their differences aside to celebrate Hackett's 60th birthday. So we haven't got much information about Lenny. I think he's a suspect. I have to go back and check that list. The words never really meant anything. The letters are the whole point. Is he talking about the name of the band? I don't know what this means. Maybe I have to go back to the lyrics and it's like a code or something. Okay, so he started his work at the Lemon Leopard Club, which is where he was going. I see. So I guess he had a birthday dinner with his family and then he had this celebration on the same night. That's where he went with Sue with his tenor sax. So we already knew this. I don't know how long it takes for the allergic reaction. It should be instantaneous, right? Or not like a whole day, right? So later, a surprise appearance from bassist and drummer. Not long after, they were joined by Newton himself. Okay, so Newton was there. Okay, well, I'm not sure what else. Let's see. Stubby's manager reveals secret busking habits. He likes to disguise himself and see if people recognize him. When asked what he did with the money, O'Hara said he went to the animal conservation charities. He liked to support rhinos, elephants, turtles, and many more would benefit from the spare coppers people threw in his case. Okay, I don't know if there's much detail in here. Let's keep going. So here's an obituary. Stubby Hackett's sudden tragic death yesterday has made a profound impact on the music world, with many of his fellow musicians paying tribute to him. He was born in 1958, his first sax and alto at age 13. He found work at the Lemon Leopard Club. He was initially a janitor. He eventually took someone's place when he left to play saxophone. Then Lenny Newton shows up one day, asks him to join the band. So Hackett continued playing up until 92 when he left to start a solo career. His first solo single, Final Dream, became one of his most famous songs. Did that just turn bright? That's weird. So it's used as an intro to a hit TV series, P.I. Truman. Does Lenny Newton hold a grudge about this? So yeah, controversy after Lenny Newton claimed he had written the song's lyrics. Newton later sued Hackett for plagiarism, though Hackett was found not guilty. Okay, so that is a motive right there. Though would he still hold on to that grudge? I don't know. Okay, so here it says he was one of the most talented, but also the clumsiest. He was never any good at taking care of his gear. I'll never forget playing at the Toronto Jazz Festival, searching Toronto for a music shop with Stubby 1 hour before we're due to go on because he'd broken his last reed again. It definitely won't be as fun without him about. So Pete Flanagan just heard the news. Daisy playing Final Dream tonight. Okay, got our last page here. Meanwhile, Lenny Newton simply said goodbye, Stubbs. Hackett married 4 times. His first marriage to Lucy Tate in 78 lasted 9 months. His second marriage to Kim Hendry lasted 81 to 92, during which time the pair had 2 sons. All right, so that one of them must be Joshua. Hendry left him, however, claiming he was neglectful to her and their sons. Okay, so that's the one in Toronto as well, right? Isaac? Is it Isaac? I'm pretty sure it was Isaac, right? Okay, his third marriage, Laura, began in 94. They had 2 daughters. Wait, 2 daughters? So Eve is also Laura's daughter? Okay. The tabloids published allegations from Dana Quint, a former personal assistant, that he was the father of her child. Claims that Hackett strenuously denied. Oh, this is some other... Okay, so it's like cheating with multiple people, I guess. When asking in the interview what he felt his biggest accomplishment was, he said, learning how to play the instrument as a teenager in the first place. Everything else is an offshoot from that. I got something that I wanted to know. I was just trying to figure out who Joshua's mom was. And now we know. All right, 3 more documents to go, at least in this part 1 envelope. The parking enforcement. So this is a ticket. Let's see. At the Lemon Leopard Club. We have a date and time. It is vehicle registration musical, and the color is gray. I see. So if we can connect this to Laura, it means that her car was not in the shop, but we don't know. So this makes it seem like the tampering happens at the Lemon Leopard Club, or okay, I see. So we also have a time here. We know that there was a car that came into the doorbell camera. So if someone's car was here, could they have been, well, the car was sorry, let me get my thoughts together here. The doorbell camera was at 2 a.m., if I remember correctly. This is 11 p.m. of the previous day. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure the doorbell camera is the 14th. Yeah, so doorbell cam is, 16th. Sorry. This is at 3:19 a.m. The 16th. So what's this all about on the 13th? Why is this important? Oh, someone was at the club on Friday? But why is that significant? Did they like plant a reed somewhere or something? I don't know. Okay, breach of terms and conditions on private land exceeding the 5-hour time restriction, details of which were clearly and promptly displayed and were agreed to by the driver by the act of parking the vehicle. So that means this car was parked here for 5 hours. So let's do the math here. If it was until 11:12 p.m., that means it was parked from 6, right? From 6 to 11:12 p.m. Or I can even just say 6:12. So if someone's car is here for that long and they are saying they were somewhere else or did something else, that means they're lying about their alibi. But for part 1, we are just trying to clear 2 people. So I guess if we think someone is lying, then they're not clear. In the same effect, we can see who's not clear, right? All right, next we have a share certificate. So certify that Sue is ordinary shares of £5. Wait, what is this? 10,000 ordinary shares of £5, each fully paid in the company, this company, subject to the articles of association of the company. Okay, I don't know what this means. XR Jarrett and Co. Have we seen this company name before? I don't know, but we do have an address now. It'd be funny if that's all this is to signify. This is in March of 29th. Is this had to do with like the merger or whatever they were saying? Let me see in the magazine. So they merged their rights to their music under RHSD Music. So that's RHSD. This is not RHSD. Okay, I don't know. Let's go on to the last document. So now we have a map. Is there a legend or like the distance or something? Okay, this is kind of what I was worried about because there's a lot of details about people's movements. So are we gonna have to like track all this stuff? Okay, well then, I think it's time to regroup here and see what facts we have and what facts we're still looking for. So far, what I think we know is that the saxophone in question is the alto sax. So is the reed that they found with the peanut oil even the alto sax reed? I think if we could confirm that, then we know we don't even need to worry about where he was with the tenor sax. Okay, so we know the size is 7 centimeters. Now, it's been a long time since I played alto sax. It was when I was in high school, which was quite a while ago. Let's just say that. So I don't remember the sizes. Oh, okay. So here's a note that I said about the tenor sax. The mouthpiece of the tenor sax did contain a few tiny fibers, such as from a cotton bud. Okay, why would that be significant? But again, we're not concerned about the tenor sax. Yeah, so his Monday morning session, which would have been his alto sax session. So someone would have had to have access to his home studio because that's where his sax was, or in the recording studio. So where is the recording studio? Actually, before that, we do have our list here. Okay, so we are trying to eliminate 2 of these suspects. The unknown suspect could be one of these suspects, which makes sense because usually games have 5 suspects. See, what I don't want to do is to have to start going through everybody's sequence, like what they describe, like the details, the times, the locations. I don't know if we really have to go that deep yet. I think first we need to identify what location and time frame we're looking for, which I think we know is the alto sax, right? Oh, actually, there is one more piece of evidence that I have access to, and that is the site. So actually, let's do that. Let's check out. Let's see if we can get access to the webmail system. So you'll need to know the password. The tech control team told me your password is controlled. She tells me you're good at anagrams. So how many words can we make with this? Okay, am I supposed to just use a website to help me? Like one of those Scrabble cheat sites or Scrabble hint sites? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna use the site. I don't know if this is cheating. All right, Scrabble word finder. Oh, okay. So there's only one word and it's central. At least one 7-letter word. All right, there you go. So now let's see if we can get into this site. What were they saying about the email? For some reason, your email address isn't auto-populating on my machine. So I just use the standard email address format. So are they saying you can just put any email? Wait, who is this to? Jordan? Do we need to put in Jordan's email? Who's Detective Jordan? I don't know. Let's go there first and see what happens. All right. So we're on the site, and I guess we do need a certain email. We know the password. So A Paulson at CLP Constability UK. We need to know Jordan's first name, because it'll probably be initial.Jordan. Or I can just try Jordan. Let's do that. Let's just try Jordan at CLP Constabulary.co.uk. We're winning central. Dang it. Oh, is that what they meant by force? If you have problems and you need a clue, she said use the force. Oh, Godspeed Elliot. Okay, so E. There we go. E.Jordan. Huh? Did I spell this wrong? Is it the other way around? No, I'm sure Paulson. Yeah, Andrew Paulson is A. Paulson. So Elliot Jordan. Did I spell Elliot wrong? Oh, 2 L's, 2 T's. No, it doesn't matter. I just use E. Since this will be the first time you access, you'll need to know your password. And from the tech control team told me your password is controlled. ANCTRLE. You're good at anagrams. If you need a clue, she said use the force. Star Wars? Use the force? Okay, so usually I love to sit on this, try to figure it out, but I am filming it, don't have much time, so I'm gonna see if there's a hint for this. Okay, what do you need help with? Webmail, login details. Yes. See hints. So there are 5. Let's see the first one. Have you found the website where the emails are stored? Yes. That's not really a puzzle, is it? Oh, there's something that flashes. I think you can kind of see the emails at first. Okay, let's go on to hint 2. In the internal memo, it says that the email system is hosted by this. Have you worked out what the username is yet? The placeholder text in the input field suggests that you need to enter an email address there. Yes, I did figure as much, and I know the name of the person that the memo was written to. So I thought it would be the initial and the last name, but that doesn't seem to be working. All right, hint 3. The email address shown at the bottom of the document gives you an idea of the email address format. Yes. But have you found the first and second name of the detective's account? Yes. Elliot Jordan. Okay, next. Internal memo starts with Detective Jordan. His surname is internal memo ends with the chief wishing good luck. Elliot, yes. The email address, yes. Okay. Oh, is it Is it case sensitive? That would be so stupid. Nope, guess not. That means my password is not right. Okay, that must mean my password is wrong. Oh, use all the letters in the and controlled anagram to come up with a new 2-word anagram. Separate the bold letters. That, okay. I don't think if I would have really come to that. So we know central is 1 word and you're supposed to use the non-bold letters. That's, to me, it's not intuitive, right? Wait, so it's N-O-N-O-L-D. Oh, Donald. Is it Donald? No. Is it a word? Oh, London. London. Oh my gosh. Okay, now we got it. What? Oh my goodness. Oh, Central London. Oh my gosh. What? Central London. Do I not capitalize everything? CENTRALLONDON. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe I was just fat fingering this. Finally. Yeah, I don't know if I would have gotten that to use the non-bold letters to make a word as well. Okay, anyways, finally, we're in. Let's go in chronological order. So we'll start with the first one. Is there going to be audio? No, we have photos. Enclosed in the case file is an empty pill packet. This was found in the master bedroom's bathroom of, okay, that's his house, Roland's house. It's an empty pill packet. Okay. This empty packet was found in the bathroom of 64 Cirencester Avenue during initial investigations. Sleepitol. Grossman Pharmacy. Keep out of reach of children. Take only 1 capsule a day before sleep. And the bottom says, should I just make a copy and flip it upside down? Okay, so the other side just says 21 tablet packet, extra drowsy formula for treatment of insomnia. Do not stop the course unless instructed by a doctor. Okay, so someone was drugged. Could this be why Esther? Why she was on the staircase? Someone drugged her? All right, let's look at the rest of the emails. We found this note at Roland's house. It appears to be stained with oil, and we believe that at some point it was folded around something due to the spacing of the creases. Okay, so is this the peanut oil? Remember, it's our little secret. That's just like Mom. I was already like very suspicious of her. It seems like her alibi with the date isn't matching. Also with the car, something seems to be suspicious about that. I don't know. Let's keep going through the emails. Loyalty card. In the case file, you'll find an Aqua Rocks loyalty card. We spoke to the store manager. It was found at the Henley branch on 4/15 or 15th of April. The account was opened in 2009. Unsure if it's of any relevance to the case. Okay, I'll just put this note next to the card. Also, we know this is Sue, right? That's Sue's former name, but now she goes by Sue, whatever her last name is. Okay, so let's go back. Saxophone research. Oh, this will probably tell me the reed sizes. As you can see, the alto saxophone is smaller than the tenor saxophone. I'll zoom in on the picture after I finish reading this. Stubby and his family refer to the alto sax as the fiver, or the 5-pound saxophone, because it's smaller than tenor. Pronounced, oh, the same as tenor. I get it. Which, of course, the slang term for the 10-pound note. I thought that was worth mentioning as my American colleague didn't understand the joke. Not that it was particularly funny anyway, Mind you, she also called the saxophone a horn, which is just confusing because that's a completely different kind of instrument. I digress. Each saxophone has its own reed sizing, so you can't use a tenor reed on an alto saxophone. Yes, that's why the size is very important. I don't think I really need this image. I'm just going to copy it anyways. Personally, I am somewhat familiar because I was in marching band and concert band, and I played alto and baritone. But yeah, this is the stuff I already knew. I just need to know what 7 centimeters used for, alto or tenor. Let's go back. ANPR. Oh, it is a video. Following on from the call we had earlier today, I think we found something you need to take a look at. Automatic number plate recognition cameras detected the number plate. Oh, musical. Okay, so that was the ticket, right? Approaching the port of Dover at 10:15 on the 14th of April. The car had been entered into the police database as belonging to an individual wanted on a charge of burglary. Border agents were unable to intercept the vehicle at passport control before it boarded a cross-channel ferry to France. But upon reviewing the footage, it seems as though the ANPR system may have misread the plates. The image in the video is most accurate. All right, let's just copy these details first. See, that's why I said vehicle registration musical. So that must be the license plate. Okay, let's see this video. We're looking for a gray car, right? But which way? Oh, is it that one? Okay. They're highlighting it for us. Let's see, how do I step? Processing. Oh, they're doing it for us. Okay. Musical. Wait, what is the point of this? There's no time signature. There's no timestamp. We know it's daylight. Well, I think the only thing important is this screenshot right here. I mean, I can't tell if the window's cracked or whatever. So, okay, so maybe I should put this note over here. So 10:15, this is AM, on the 14th of April. Ah, okay. That makes sense now, because if she said, this is Lana, if she said that her car was in the garage all weekend, but it was spotted here on the 14th, then that is clearly a lie. All right, let's move on. Oh, wait, I forgot about all this stuff. So it's belonging to individual wanted for burglary. We don't know if Lana stole anything. Okay, so I think, yeah, they're saying that they misread the plates because they thought it was MU51CAL, but actually it just says musical, like it says right here, musical. But it also says that it was boarding a cross-channel ferry to France on the 14th. So is that an alibi? I don't know. Okay, let's finish the emails. So we do have an audio file. Stubby's last words. Mr. Jordan, here is a very short recording taken from the morning on the 16th of April. First, you'll hear the music that we'd recorded on previous weeks. Stubby was going to play over the top of it, but had issues with his reed. It all went downhill rather rapidly from there. I've also attached my witness statement as requested. I hope it helps you with your investigations. Please do let us know if we can help in any other way. Regards, Lisa. So I think this might have been the other singer. I'm not sure if her name was there, but let's get these documents. Okay, we'll go through that in a bit. First, let's finish the emails. Or actually, we have the audio file. So maybe we will go through this, but let's get this audio file first. Okay, I don't know if I can play the music. I probably won't, just to be on the safer side. But basically, He is playing the tenor sax in the song, and after a bit, it starts squeaking, and then he says, oh, I wrote it down, hold on. He says, "This reed is as tacky as Lenny's new plates." And it starts laughing, and then he asks Sue to get new reeds because he's on his last one. Now, this would seem very suspicious for Sue, although he is talking about getting new reeds for his tenor sax. So I don't think this implicates Sue for at least tampering with the reeds, because these would not be the alto reeds. But at least this first part is just referring to musical. So this would be Lenny's car. For me, that works out better because I was worried if this was Lana's car, because going across the ferry to France is a pretty solid alibi. And if it was Lana, then that would be somewhat problematic. She's kind of my prime suspect here. But if it's Lenny, then yeah, that I wasn't really suspicious of him, but this could possibly clear him. But I'm not really connecting all the pieces yet, because, okay, so if it is Lenny and he got a parking ticket here, so he was at this club from 6:12 p.m. to 11:12 p.m. Like, what was he doing there? He wouldn't normally be there unless, oh, it did say he showed up for the birthday, which I really need to know for sure. It was on the Friday night, right? Okay, hold on. Let me confirm this. I think it was in the magazine. Okay, so let's see. Does it mention any times? So there was a even bigger surprise. Not long after, they were joined by Newton himself. Yeah, I mean, that explains why his car is there, because he came to the reunion. I think initially they were trying to see if we would think this is Lana's car and that she's lying about something. So if it is Lenny's car, this tracks because he was at the club to celebrate, or he joined the birthday. He probably parked too long, got a ticket, which means he was there until 11:12. Why would he be wanted for burglary though? What did he steal? Was this like previously he stole something? I don't know. So anyways, on the next day, he's seen leaving, and we know, okay, that camera footage, again, that's probably the most important time right now. The camera footage on the 16th. So they think something happened on the 16th in the morning. So this is the Monday morning before his studio session with the alto sax. Oh, another thing I wanted to check really quick was the lyrics. Okay, I just wanted to make sure if there was like some pattern here with the first words and the letters or something like that. And that's because right here in the magazine, it said words that have no meaning, letters are the whole point. So I was wondering if the letters of the words, if there's some secret code or something. All right, well, let's just finish the emails. Well, actually, we still have the witness statement to go through. This is Lisa, the music producer. I was the producer on Stubby's new album. Today, we were doing another session for his new version of Final Dream, the duet he was recording with his new wife. We had done some work on it on Friday last week, where we managed to record his entire tenor sax part and a segment of the alto sax part. Today, he was continuing with the alto sax part, or as he calls it, the 5-pound sax, because it's smaller than the tenor. It was funny the first time, but that was several years ago now. Okay, hold on, wait. He recorded a segment of the alto? Oh, wait. So, okay, I thought the one that he had left was the tenor, but now it seems like he only had one left for the alto, and then he asked Sue to buy new reeds. If so, that changes everything. We all got to the studio at 10. Tony, the engineer, and I were in the booth. Stubby was in the studio. Stubby began putting his sax together. He's done it so many times that he does it pretty much on autopilot and not really focusing on what he was doing. While he was doing that, we were chatting about our weekends. He had been to his house in the country. I had been to the Liverpool v Crystal Palace game. He hadn't watched the match himself. He was a Spurs fan, but he mentioned how his son lives near, what is this? Selhurst Park, so I might have bumped into him. It was just another normal day in the studio. Stubby licked one end of the reed and sucked through the other end to moisten it. He fixed it to his mouthpiece, put the mouthpiece onto the sax, and started warming up. Things seemed pretty normal at first, but he soon said he was having trouble breathing. Then he passed out. We called for an ambulance. Tony went into the studio to perform CPR. Despite looking for it, we couldn't find Stubby's EpiPen. The paramedics arrived and took him away. We were left in shock, not sure what to do. I'm not sure what all this small talk is important, but they got to the studio at 10. Okay, let's continue with the emails. Frank Lee, afternoon E. I spoke to that's the detective. I spoke to a security guard called Frank Lee at the Lemon Leopard yesterday to get his take on the LSE reunion. Frankly, I think we're onto something here. Regards. Okay, let's get this. It's 2 minutes long. Okay, here we go.
This is Detective Florence Smith here with Frank Lee on the 16th of April 2018. Frank, can you tell us everything you remember from the night of the LSE reunion on the 13th of April?
Okay, so yeah, I was on security at the Lemon Leopard Club on Friday the 13th. I was guarding the door to the backstage green room. It's a pretty standard and uneventful night, to be honest with you. Stubby Hackett arrived with his wife. He was, very warm, cordial, shook my hand with his right, had his sax case in his left. Sue said hello. She took a seat in the audience. Stubby got things ready and left when it was his time to go on. Then Al and Jack arrived around the back, as their appearance was going to be a surprise for Stubby's birthday. We had to keep Lenny Newton's presence the biggest secret from Stubby, as that was the biggest surprise of the night. Him and Stubby had a massive falling out years ago, but give Lenny his due, he was the first to arrive and help set up the club at about 6. After Stubby played for a while, Jack and El went on to join Stubby. Lenny had to pop out of the fire exit by the stage entrance during his time, only briefly. My friend Jake was watching over it and couldn't help himself get one over Lenny about his new number plate. Jack and Al must have played, 2 or 3 songs whilst Lenny was by himself. Then he joined the rest of the band on stage. After their performance was finished, they all returned to the green room. I did have one problem actually with one woman. She was clearly trying to sneak into the green room. She didn't do anything. I think she was waiting for some chance to sneak in. She had this puffer jacket and a bobble hat on. After a while, she went away. Unfortunately for her, it's pretty hard sneaking into places if you're not a sneaky person. Jake also noticed that there was a girl trying to get backstage, and from what he told me, it did sound like it was the same woman. We all said our goodbyes and made our own way home.
That's great. Thank you, Frank. That's all we need for now. We'll be in touch if there's anything else we need at a later date.
Okay. Immediately, I think the woman trying to sneak in is the same one caught on the doorbell cam, because they said the puffer jacket and the hat or whatever. But the only other thing that stood out to me was the part where it says Lenny went on his own. So at some point, Lenny just pops out the fire escape for a moment. They play a song without him. He rejoins them. The other thing to note was that Lenny came early at 6 p.m. to help out. So that tracks with the parking ticket, because he arrived around 6. Okay, let's take some notes here. Okay, so these are the main things I got from the audio. Just to summarize again, Lenny was confirmed to arrive at 6. He stepped out the fire escape for a moment in the night, and that a woman tried to sneak into backstage, and it's possibly the same as the doorbell cam. I'm just gonna double check again to get the exact description. I'm not sure the British if it's bobble hat or bubble hat. Okay, well, that's the description. So let's go ahead and take a look at the photo really quick. So yes, I believe that is what they call a bobble hat because it has the ball on top. And this is definitely a puffer jacket. So it could be a woman. He described it as a woman. And again, the car. So we don't know what car this is. Okay, let's continue. And I think we have one last email. Dear Detective Jordan, following on from our call, I've attached a screenshot of the receipt for the journey we spoke about. Regards, Pete. Okay, so Laxi London Cab account number, opening balance. It's on the 13th, so Friday, from Raul's. That is the place they went to eat. The family went to eat. So from Raul's to London City Airport, 51 minutes, 9.5 miles. The driver is Brian Morris. Okay, so somebody left Raul's. This must be Joshua, right? Where can we see his account number? Is it the same as his phone number? Let's see. Oh, yeah, let's go back to the text messages because if we think it's Joshua, let's see. So before that, it's 475275. And that does not match the number. Let's read this again now that we kind of have some context. Hey, you around tonight? We're going to see that new film. Oh, wait, have we seen any phone numbers? I don't know if we can call it because these would be international for me. Okay, no, can't. Going up to London to see that rat of a man. Okay, who would describe him as a rat of a man? You know the story about how he ditched my mum on a spur. Not that I'm a massive fan of her either. I like my siblings though. Okay, someone's not a fan of their own mom. Okay, what's up with your mum? I'm gonna do it this weekend. He's dead to me. How have I ended up with such crap parents? Mum is constantly trying to brainwash Eve. I'm sick of it. It's one thing after another. Okay, Eve is the little girl, and the only one who would be like interacting with her now would be Lana. So this is one of Lana's children. Therefore, it can't be Joshua. So now we know this is... What's her name? Oh my gosh, what's her name? Esther. I think it's Esther then. Okay, so this is Esther. She said, I'm going to do it this weekend. He's dead to me. That does not look good for her. Mom is constantly trying to brainwash Eve. I mean, that doesn't... I'm trying to think because if it's Joshua, his mom would kind of be like out of the picture by now, right? Why would his mom be around Eve? The only mom around Eve would be Esther's mom. Esther and Eve's mom. Okay, I think it's Esther. So how does this relate to clearing anybody? I don't know. It does give her a really big motive. Okay, so I think for sure we can't clear Esther. She was at the house, so she would have access to the alto sax. We don't know the reed situation though, because I'm still kind of confused about whether he had one reed left for the tenor or for the alto. I think I need to go back to Eve's statement because she did mention that. So it says, maybe my dad should have been a recorder player because he's always breaking his saxophone reeds. He told me he needed to buy more because he only had one left. Yeah, so this just doesn't tell us for which saxophone. Oh, okay. Anyways, we are trying to clear 2 people. So far, the only lead I have is Lenny's car. If he did go to France, that could be a huge alibi. And then this ticket or this receipt. So if you think about it, who was at Raul's? We have Roland and Sue, but afterwards they went straight to the club for the celebration. We have Esther, who took Eve to go bowling. So the only one left is the son. I forgot what his name is. Joshua. So the only one left is Joshua. And he said that right after club, he took off. He went off on his own. Everyone confirmed that he went off on his own. Let me just make sure I read his. So we all got in his car, so he didn't drive himself, which makes sense why he would need a taxi. Oh wait, let's how did he get there? I remember it said he had to take the train. Left around 5 o'clock, got there at 6. Commuter train up to London Victoria, and then tube the rest of the way. Got to Swiss Cottage station at the same time as my half-sister Esther. Okay, yeah, so he took the train there. So either way, when the evening ended, I said my goodbyes and went my own way. So I'm going to write that Joshua was the only one who went on his own because Esther went with Eve and Roland went with Sue. So if that's the case, then I think we have our 2. So I'm going to keep track here that Joshua has a taxi receipt and then Lenny possibly boarded the ferry to France. I don't know if he came back, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because in the beginning, the doorbell cam looks like a woman, and it's kind of ironic that you would eliminate the men. I wouldn't want to eliminate just based off of that, but this does kind of further support that it was a woman who snuck into the house. We don't know if the doorbell woman is the one who did it, but that person would be more suspicious. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's Joshua and Lenny that we can clear. Just to confirm, it says that we need to eliminate 2 suspects from this list. Must either have an alibi from another written statement or must be backed up by other irrefutable evidence. I think let's just go for it. Let's see if we're right. So we need to confirm our answers on this site. Normally I would go through the hints and make sure I have the right answer. This time I'm just going to go for it. And if I'm wrong, then I'll go through the hints. So tick the suspects who have a solid alibi, then press submit. So first we have Joshua and Lenny. Here we go. Yes, objective 1 complete. Well done, team. You've managed to piece together enough information to eliminate Lenny and Joshua from the suspect list. That'll keep the press off our backs for a while. Now we must find the person or people who killed Mr. Roland Hackett. The other team have collected more evidence while you've been working away. They've popped the evidence into an envelope labeled Part 2. So now we can go ahead and open Part 2. All right, we have all the documents for Part 2. It's much less than Part 1. On the front, it says check all contents, complete the objectives stated in the internal memo. There's some hints, and then we have to put in our answer on this site. So a much shorter list. We will just go in this order. And again, if we're missing any files, we can download them. All right, internal memorandum Part 2. Dear Detective Jordan, thank you for acting so swiftly on eliminating 2 of the suspects. This has certainly brought us some more time, and given the press some answers for now. The team have been busy collecting more evidence to help you solve this case. Please read through the new evidence found in this envelope. You may need to cross-reference some of this evidence with the documents found in the first envelope and in the webmail. We believe some of the evidence interlinks with evidence found in Part 1 and can give us some strong alibis for the remaining suspects. We have collected all the evidence we can. Now we need to use what we have to charge the culprit or culprits with the murder of Roland Hackett. Please follow the instructions found in the front of the envelope labeled Part 2. Good luck. All right, first we have a banking statement. So is this supposed to give us like someone's location? Oh, Aqua Rocks books. So that is the subscription card. So is this Sue? Immediately leaning towards Sue. Okay, so on the 13th, this is in the afternoon. Beanie's Coffee, a ticket machine for the rail, London Transport. Oh, bowling. Wait a second. This is at 8:30 p.m. So they played the bowl at 10-pin bowl. So this is like 4 games. Oh, no, there was 4 people, right? And then the London Transport, Greenwich, Cafe Roma. Oh, this is the next day. Yeah. So on the 14th, video games, Express Convenience Store, Kendrick's Bar, Club Rio, convenience store again, pizza, transport, UK Rail Onboard Catering. Okay, I don't know. I was looking for like music shop or something, you know? But now that this mentions the bowling, I'm leading towards Esther because she went to go bowling. So she went with Eve, but also some of her friends, right? So I'm guessing 2 of her friends. Okay, we'll probably come back to this. I think we should just move on and see the rest. So next, there are some letters from a diary. This is on April 6th. If Hackett isn't man enough to do the decent thing of acknowledging Tom and his son, maybe I'll have to take matters into my own hands. Wait, what? Acknowledging Tom and his son? He'll be at the Lemon Leopard in a week's time. It's a tiny little venue, so his DNA will be easy to come by. Luckily for me and Tom, Hackett plays an instrument that involves getting your spit on it. Okay, so is this supposed to be like someone had a different motive for trying to go backstage, or also trying to access the reeds because they wanted a DNA test? So could that mysterious person actually be someone else? Oh, I know. I need to edit like a light bulb thing. In the magazine, it said that there was a secretary or someone who claims that Roland is the father of her child. So this could be it. I don't know if it mentions a name. After I finish reading these, I'll go back and check. So 13th, saw Stubby play at the Lemon Leopard. Unfortunately, getting into his dressing room was harder than I anticipated. There was a guard there the entire time. Maybe I should have bribed him or something. I followed Hackett's car home, however. 6-4, and it's the address. All right. So this is the puffer jacket lady, right? But I think it is someone else. It's the person they mentioned in the magazine. Okay, 14th, got the stuff I need for tomorrow. Oh, thankfully some skills you never lose. Though with what I've got, it'll be a little easier than mucking about with a paperclip like I did as a kid. Okay, so I think she's just planning to break in, but she just wants DNA. Success, got the DNA sample I wanted. A bit hairy, but I doubt they'll be able to prove it was me. Proving Stubby's paternity should be a breeze now, and as soon as I can prove that to him, I'm sure he'll have a change of heart. My hope is he'll become the father figure that Tom needs in his life. Hackett isn't the perfect man, but Tom deserves a dad, and I'll do anything for my little boy. Okay, clearly this person doesn't want him dead. Okay, now we'll go back to the magazine to see who that was. It's so weird that, the magazine is like a lot to read, but when you have enough experience with these games, you know what, like something just sticks out and you just remember it for some reason. So we have Dana Quint. So they don't mention anything about the child, whether it's a boy or named Tom. The tabloids published allegations from Dana Quint, a former personal assistant, that he was the father of her child. Okay, so I think we know who this mystery woman is. It could be the same as the door cam lady. And I don't know if that complicates things or simplifies things. So far, Sue and Esther have a lot of access to the alto sax reeds. All right, next we have Ratcliffe Garage. So we have a Siesta. Is that Ford? This is on the 17th. And cracked windshield, arrived on the 13th. Tow required, no. Okay, so that does check out because she got it back on the 17th. I don't know, I was very suspicious about this, whether it was true or not. Mileage, why would they put mileage? Well, we have a license plate. Oh, J-Lo, yeah, she called her car J-Lo. Well, let's keep going. Okay, Friday, April 13th from Primrose. Dear Diane, so this is a letter that Sue wrote. Today's a day for joy, for it is Rose's birthday. He turns the big 60 today. We're heading out to one of his favorite restaurants to celebrate. Rose reached out to all his children to join him, and except for Isaac, who lives in Canada now, he managed to bag the lot. I thought Ro might go for something fancy, but he chose the tapas restaurant we've been to several times now. I guess he knows what he likes and likes what he knows. On the whole, life has been pretty quiet here in London. That is, apart from when Eve is around. She's a real troublemaker. It's her mother, you know. She knows Eve's pranks wind us up, so she encourages her to do it. I mean, yes, they're mostly harmless jokes, but she's poisoning that girl's mind, all because she's bitter and she wants to get to us, back at Ro for what she says he did. Of course, Ro's not one for discipline. He probably sees a little bit of himself at that age in her. Scratch that, he sees a lot of himself. Can't help but feel if I had been in the same class as Ro as a kid, I probably would have hated his guts. He'd have probably been one of the kids who used to call me Smelly Nelly. I mean, we already know her name is Nelly, so these young ones growing up just make us realize how old we're getting. We should probably rewrite the rest of our wills before we keel over. Ro would turn in his grave if his house and the rest of his estate ended up going to his ex-wife just because some old paperwork was never changed. At least she can't get her hands on our musical content. Ro's new album is coming together nicely. Today, we were working on a new version of Final Dream with me singing. I think it's gonna sound great. I'm looking forward to hearing the final mix. Not sure when he's expecting the whole album to be complete, but I'm sure it'll probably happen in a couple months. After all, it has to be ready for Christmas. Thank you for the kind words in your last letter. The latest update is that my insomnia is now much better, thanks to a prescription of sleeping pills the doctor gave me. They're quite potent actually. I'm sleeping like the dead. Hopefully I'll be able to sleep that well once the course has finished. Or maybe I'll just have to twist Ro's arm and make him fix the floors. He certainly has the money to get a guy in to completely refloor the entire house, so I don't know why he doesn't do it. Hope everything else is okay down your end. Warm regards, Sue. P.S. Rook to A4, check. This letter was found in the paper output tray of Sue's printer. Presumably she hadn't had a chance to send it yet. Central London Forensics. Okay, so my first thought, obviously we saw the prescription for the sleeping pills, but this also makes me think that the creaky floor would have woke someone up, but if she was on the sleeping pills, she wouldn't have woken up. So if somebody were to go inside, then she wouldn't have heard it. But there's two other people in that house that night, right? There's Eve and Esther. So I think we had how many remaining suspects? Well, before we get too much into it, I think the take here is that if she was asleep, she probably wouldn't have heard the creaking noises. Okay, let's move on. Okay, next we have doorbell analysis. So following the collection of forensic evidence from the house, I have had time to go through all of the activity recorded on the smart doorbell at the residence of Roland Hackett. Okay, so we have Friday in the morning, Roland Hackett with sax cases. Oh, he took both? Okay, so he took sax cases and Sue leaving the residence. This is for the Friday session, right? So Roland Hackett with 2 sax cases arriving at the house. So they came in the afternoon. Roland Hackett leaving the property with a saxophone case. That is the tenor sax. Ring Eve Hackett Morrow arriving at the house. She arrived. Oh, that's because Lana dropped her off. And then she goes out on the porch to draw. At the same time, the motion feature triggered a 30-second intervals 42 times. So it's just her out there. And then later, Sue appears, then proceeds to leave the residence with Eve. Later, Roland's with a saxophone case, Eve and Sue arriving at the property. Oh, okay. So Roland left already, and then Sue and Eve go to the park to watch him play. And then all 3 of them come back. Esther and Joshua arrive and wait at the door. Esther appears for 10 seconds and reappears without her brown bag. Oh, Esther, sorry, I read that wrong. Esther disappears for 10 seconds and reappears without her brown bag. Joshua has a duck egg colored suitcase and a black and off-white rucksack. Yeah, because he goes right after this. He goes straight to the airport after this, right? This one's interesting. For 10 seconds, I don't know what this brown bag is. Just gonna make a note of that. Okay, so Roland Hackett with sax case, Sue, Esther, Joshua, and Eve leaving residence. And this is his tenor sax. Eve and Esther arrive at the property. Esther appears to be intoxicated. Yes, this is coming back from bowling. Roland and Sue arrive. So, oh, that's really shortly after. It's only like a minute. Okay, so Sue seen leaving the residence. Sue comes back to the residence with a saxophone case. Whoa, what's going on here? Because Roland with a sax case and everyone else leave. Eve and Esther. Oh, she had to go to the car. That's right. She said she went to the car to get the stuff, and then she comes back with the case. And then the next morning, Esther seen leaving the property. Roland, Eve, and Sue leave the house. I don't know what this is. It just could be they're going out somewhere. Delivery driver arrives. No parcel left, but they rang the doorbell. Unknown suspect appearing to gain entry to the house. Unknown suspect seen leaving the property. Roland Hackett arrives at the house. Roland Hackett leaves the property with a saxophone case. I did think it was interesting that they noted you can buy these reeds like online. I'll go back to that part. I'll just write something about this delivery. I don't know what else sticks out here. Of course, on the 16th, this is the unknown suspect, but we now know who this is, or at least why this person was there. They're just trying to get DNA. Okay, so I'm going to go check on the note. I think it was in the memo, right? Or the analysis of the read. Okay, so I don't think it's here, but actually now I think I know what this is. A cotton bud. It could be from the puffer jacket. Maybe the anonymous person took a DNA sample from the tenor sax case or something. I don't know. Oh, it is here. I just completely glanced over it. It says, I'm not a musician, but a quick glance at the internet shows that these reeds can be easily obtained online. But while I was here, I also realized I had this detail as well. On 5/14, let's go back to that bank account. Oh, not 5/14, 15/4. Henley branch, 15th. Yeah, so this was found at the Henley branch. So that means Sue would have been there on the 15th, right? But we don't see Aqua Rocks. We only see Aqua Rocks on the 13th. What does that mean? I don't understand this. Why is that significant? Okay, well, she does go to the convenience store, buy something for $7.35 and $2.32. Is there something online? Next 10. What is the brand of the reeds? Let me see. There's no brand name. Okay, I don't know if this is cheating to look up the size. I just want to confirm we're talking about alto sax reeds, right? Okay, so it says alto sax reeds is 2 centimeter by 7 centimeter. And then it can go from 8 to, it can be about 8 centimeters. So now let's see tenor. Yeah, tenor would be like 8 or 9 long. So it's definitely not a tenor sax reed. Okay, well, we have one last piece of evidence, and it's a letter written to Sue. Dear Sue, firstly, I'd like to thank you for popping in again last week to further discuss the licensing opportunity at hand. It is always a pleasure to meet with you, and I look forward to working with you more closely henceforth. Since our meeting, I've spoken with several of our industry contacts, and I'm pleased to share with you that there is a strong interest in the use of all music under the management of RHSD Music Limited. As previously discussed, the agreement would cover a wide range of advertising campaign types from social media to radio and television. Ooh, so this is not what Roland wanted. Since they merged together, she has some power now, and she's trying to make more money off of it. In terms of earnings, we're very confident that a 6-figure sum could be reached for each deal that is negotiated, which would be subject to our fees, of course. As for the next steps, we will need a signed copy from the rights owner and the terms and conditions that we sent you in our previous communications. When all the legal paperwork has been completed, we shall begin negotiations with our contacts. If you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me. I look forward to hearing from you shortly. Xavier Roberts. Immediately, I think she doesn't really have a strong motive then because, unless he didn't want to sign this. I was thinking that she can still make money with him alive. So that wouldn't be a motive to kill him. But if he doesn't want to sign this, then that is a very strong motive. So she got this on the 14th. Okay, let's see. There is a back to this. Oh, so she was drawing on this paper, I guess. Dad and me playing music together. Or together. So he has the saxophone and she's playing the recorder. It didn't say something like she saw this picture, or when she was showing the dad, she took it right. Oh, okay. I see. It's because she took it away from him right away because it was on the back of this, and she definitely didn't want him to see this. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so after all this, what are we left with? We still have Esther, we still have Laura, we still have Sue. Okay, so for Esther and Sue, they would have the means because they were in the house, right? Sue is taking sleeping pills, so she wouldn't notice someone sneaking in or going into the studio. Does that mean that she didn't do it? I'm not too sure. But if it was Sue and it wasn't Esther, then Esther probably would have noted something about hearing the creaks at night, right? Unless she was drunk and wouldn't have been able to hear it. Now for Laura, it's hard for me to place her inside the house, right? We know she's not the mystery woman, so it would have caught her on the camera at some point. And if we go to the doorbell records, there really isn't a record of her coming, at any other time, actually at all. There's no record of her, except for here. Delivery driver arrives, no parcel left. This one doesn't make sense to me at all. And then Esther disappears for 10 seconds and reappears without her brown bag. Why would a delivery driver show up and leave no package? So this is also after Esther leaves. She leaves 8:30 a.m. Okay, so I think we can know for sure it's not Lana because we know she's not the mystery person. And then it would have made a note if they saw Lana. They wouldn't describe a delivery driver if it looked like, wait, is it Lana or Laura? I think it's Laura, sorry. Laura. So for her, the alto sax is in the house. We know that for sure. And she was never spotted entering the house. So I think I think that clears her, right? From the beginning, for me, actually, no, I was very suspicious of Laura, but now I'm not so much. She's going on dates. She's moved on. Oh, I did want to see that social media stuff, right? It's weird, right? I mean, who is this Chris guy? So just met Chris at the London City airport. Oh, we were both on the last flight of the day. That's right, because he went straight to the airport. I mean, we already cleared him, but this just confirms it. And yeah, this is the description of what he had, right? It's kind of like I forgot how to describe this. And then the backpack. It says he had a duck egg colored suitcase and a black and off-white rucksack. Yep. So Joshua is Chris, the author. But who is Chris, the one that Laura is dating? Because if it's what I think it is, what I think is happening, I don't know how old Laura is, right? I mean, she could be young. She's like his third wife, I think. But I guess, yeah, she would not be blood related to him. So technically, there's nothing wrong with it. But she has to know who he is. That would be super weird. Okay, anyways, I don't, that's probably not relevant to the case. I really don't know. But maybe as far as motive goes, she's kind of moved on. She really doesn't have any motive. We know the text messages are between Esther and someone else. And she mentions like she's like pretty much says dead, wants him dead. And then for Sue, her motive really would just be to get this deal, right? Because if he doesn't want to, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to, then she can't go forward with this deal. Is that a strong motive? I don't know. But again, Esther's is that she just hates him for leaving, or everything that he did to Laura. I'm gonna need something more solid, right? But I think I can clear Laura because she's not spotted here. So now it's between the two. I need the smoking gun here. What is a smoking gun? She leaves this brown bag. What is that? What's going on? I mean, the smoking gun could be the sleeping pills. Because like I said, if it was the other way around, would Esther have written in her witness statement that she heard someone creaking in the middle of the night? Actually, let me check her witness statement. Oh, okay. So it says, I was woken up during the night by someone walking around. The clock on the bedside table said it was 2 o'clock. Okay, the next day I said goodbye to Dad, Sue, and Eve. I met up with some friends who are at Greenwich Uni and stayed Saturday and Sunday night with them. This is the night of the 13th into the morning of the 14th. I think this is our like crucial moment. It's that night, right? So she says she was woken up by someone walking about. This could be a lie because she could have been the one walking about. So let's see what Eve said. Oh, and Esther doesn't mention falling asleep in the hallway. So after the food, Joshy left and Dad and Sue went out. Esty took me bowling, and when we got back home to Dad's, she fell asleep in the hallway. But it wasn't that long. According to the doorbell cam, it was just about a minute because the Dad and Sue got home just like a minute after. Sue was very cross with Esty. Dad took me upstairs to bed, but I was woken up during the night by someone walking about. It was 2 o'clock. The hands on my clock glow, and that's how I could tell. Okay. So they are at least consistent with each other. But like I said, Esther could be lying. She could have been the one walking around. Now for Sue, she did make a note that Laura is quiet, but I mean, she can't avoid a camera, right? Okay, Esther took Eve bowling. I didn't really agree. It's getting late. However, she did say it was only one game. Ro had his sax on him and went straight to Lemon Leopard. I'd say it was around 8 p.m. when we left Raul's. Oh yeah, we already ruled out the sun, whatever. Later on, when Ro and I arrived back at the house, we were greeted by Esther, who was slurring her words. She said they had been back for a while, but they weren't, right? She just got back. Hard to believe she only went for one. Ro took Eve off to bed. Esther followed. I emptied the car into the hallway. Then went to bed. Oh, the hallway. But that's the tenor sax. So that's how the person who broke in got access to the tenor sax, because it was just in the hallway. Okay, and then she doesn't mention anything about hearing someone because, if she went to bed and she's on sleeping pills, she would not have woken up. The next morning, Esther went off by herself pretty early, probably embarrassed by a previous night, and that's it. Oh, we drove out to the country house outside Henley, which explains why she would have her card. She left her card out there. Okay, so I don't know what it really comes down to. is if she took her sleeping pills and knocked out, then she wouldn't have done it. But could she have some other opportunity to do it? Also, I forgot about this. We have our little note here. Remember, it's our little secret, smiley face. And this has oil on it. This might be the smoking gun here. Who can we connect this to? So since we found this note at the house, it appears to be stained in oil, and we believe that at some point it was folded around something. Folded around something due to the spacing of the creases. Oh, I see now. So this was folded around the reed. And it has peanut oil. So why does it say, remember, it's our little secret? This, okay, hold on. So Laura, she loves to play secrets, to keep secrets with Eve. Is it possible that she handed this with a reed to Eve, and unknowingly Eve, keeps the note, but gives the reed to Roland? Because then Laura doesn't have to do anything else. So this goes back to the conversation that she had when she dropped her off. Okay, let's go there. I think it's in Sue's testimony. Okay. I mean, oh my gosh, if this is it. Seconds after Ro left, Ro's ex-wife Laura turned up to drop off Eve. She's pretty frosty. If it weren't for the sound of her car, you'd assume Eve just magically materialized there. I was watching from the window. Laura gave Eve something, and then the two of them spent a while talking. When Eve came in, I asked her what they were talking about, to which she said, "Oh, it's a secret." And then I had to tell her off for trying to go into Ro's studio at one point. It's very hard to make her sit still. So why was she trying to go into the studio? Because Laura instructed her to do so. Man, if there was something that mentioned that she handed Roland the reed, that would be it. So after Ro went upstairs, started getting ready for the gig. Okay, and then it just goes into the dinner. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this here. And this is probably my best theory yet. And of course she has plenty of motive. The guy was a jerk. Although it's weird, I don't know how much stronger the motive is than the other two. But this is probably the best I have, So now it's a matter of whether I just go for it or I try to read some hints to make sure I'm right. Since I've been doing so many hints in my previous ones, I think I'm just going to go for it. This line right here too, where it says she was trying to go into the studio at one point. Like, why would she do that, right? She must have got a read from Laura. Why do I keep saying Lana? She must have gotten a read from Laura, wrapped in this paper, clearly with peanut oil. And she told him, "Oh, go put it in the studio." Maybe she couldn't do that, so maybe she just handed it to him. Maybe she did have a chance to sneak it into the studio. Okay, let's go for it. Let's do it. And that, oh my gosh, that is so, like, you used your daughter to do that. That's like so twisted if this is the case. Because what happens, right? What happens? Like, she's an accomplice? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Anyways, to confirm your answer, go here. Okay, who killed Roland Stubby Hackett? Tick the suspects you believe to be guilty. Oh shoot, do we click Eve too? I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try clicking both of them. Okay, here we go. Oh no, you're about to charge the wrong people. It wasn't Laura and Eve. Okay. In that case, it's time for hints. Unless it's just Laura. No. Let's see what the hints are. Okay, so we need, I guess, part 2 hints. When the poison reed was attached, who was up at night? The person breaking in. I think we know about this. Joshua's whereabouts. I think, oh, Joshua's. I thought we cleared him already. Oh, I guess they just, put everybody. Letter from XR. What is XR? Oh, Xavier Robert. Oh, I see, because it has the drawing in the back. I mean, that just gives the motive for Sue, right? Okay, what should I look up first? I think when the poison reed was attached. All right, let's read hint 1. What are the differences between alto and tenor? I mean, the reed size for 1. Have you identified which saxophone? It's the alto. The producer's witness statement says it was Stubby's alto sax. Yes. When was the last time he played it? It was during the Friday session. He started a little bit, right? But then it wound up in his studio. Am I wrong about that? Yeah, so on the 13th, in the first recording session, when he was recording the tenor, he says that he started doing the alto, a little bit of alto, and that's the audio recording that we have. And it started squeaking, right? So maybe it was the alto sax that he only had 1 reed left. But anyways, that was the last time we played it. Of course, before Monday's session where it already had the peanut oil. Okay, security guard at Lemon Leopard only mentioned Stubby having 1 saxophone in his statement. That's the tenor. The All That Jazz article in the LSE reunion states Stubby played tenor. Yeah, I just said that. Eve says Stubby was playing the tenor in the park. Yes, we knew that. Sue says that Stubby's saxophones were left in the London house over the weekend. When did Stubby last play his alto saxophone? Yeah, we kind of answered that already. Did it happen in the studio? No. There's one piece of evidence that I didn't use, and it was the map. Let me just take a quick look at it. I mean, there's a few that I didn't really use. Here's a studio. Here's a club. Here's a bowling. I don't think she could have left him. It wasn't in the studio though, because according to the camera, it was in his home studio, right? Okay, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what they say. Stubby plays 2 different types, alto and tenor. According to Lisa and Sue, on the Friday morning, he had played both at the studio. Yes. Stubby then plays tenor at the park. See Eve's statement. Yes. And social media. The next saxophone use is at Lemon Leopard, where he plays tenor. Saturday and Sunday, Sue says that the saxophones were left at the house. And Eve also hints that Stubby and Sue were not taking anything with them to the house in Hindley. Yep. On Monday, Lisa and the evidence analysis document both verified that it was the alto sax. Therefore, the reed was poisoned sometime between the Friday morning and the morning recording session. Of course. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a complete nothingness. Who was up at night? I mean, we know about the sleeping pills, right? That's all we know. And then Esther and Eve heard something at 2 a.m. Oh, that's what I wanted to check too. So the camera was at 2 a.m. I think it was later than that. Oh, wait. Also, this is a completely different day, right? Because we're talking about Friday to Saturday. And this is Sunday morning. This is completely irrelevant. Sorry, this is nothing. There's nothing. So this is the night of Friday the 13th to Saturday 14th, right? Let's just see what it says. Okay, both Eve and Esther heard someone walking at 2 a.m. Sue mentions in her letter taking medication for insomnia. Sleep medication contained 21 tablets and, of course, began on March. Oh, was she out? The only signs of intrusion the police could find was on Monday morning. Okay, let's go back to that medicine. This empty packet was found in the bathroom during initial investigations. So she got it in March. Take 1 capsule a day before sleep. So I guess, yeah, we add 21 days. So what would that be? I think it's faster if I just look at a calendar. So if she takes one on March 24th, April 13th would be the last day. So she'd have one pill left. So it does check out. She would have taken her last pill that day and it would be empty, right? So I think that does check out if I counted correctly. Okay, now since we're down to 2 people, I'm wondering if it's just Laura, not Eve. Should I try that? Should I try that first? Just Laura? Okay, here we go. Yeah, but okay. It says she never came in contact, but my theory is reasonable, right? So for that same reason, yes, I ruled Laura out because she's never spotted in the camera. But doesn't that make sense? She had folded it up when she dropped her off. She had a little chat with her, and then Sue comes like, "What were you talking about?" It's like, "Oh, it's a secret." And then the note just happens to say it's our little secret. I'm missing something then. Okay, I would love to again, continue trying to figure this out. I don't have much time, so I'm gonna go through more hints. So who am I more suspicious about? If we counted correctly and Sue did take her sleeping pill that night, then she would have been fast asleep. That's why she wouldn't have heard anything. Esther says she heard something. So did Eve. I don't think Eve is lying about it. Esther could be lying about it. So let's see Esther's whereabouts. It's only 4. Track the movement of the saxophones. Okay, we already kind of know that. Track Esther's movements. Could she have access to saxophone that killed? Yes, because she was in the house. Does Esther have an alibi in any other piece of evidence to confirm her statement? Not really an alibi, right? Because she just says she heard someone at around 2 a.m. But I mean, so did Eve, but that doesn't confirm anything as far as an alibi goes. Okay, a bank statement closely matches everything Esther has mentioned in her statement, from getting to the train, yep, and seeing her friends in London, and the bowling part, of course. Yeah, going bowling. So it's clear that this bank statement belongs to Esther. Did she have enough time to poison the reed without getting caught? Oh. Wait, no, wait. She stayed over at the house that night. I don't want to click the answer. So when they're asking, did she have enough time to poison the reed? Okay. We know the stairs are super creaky. So if she was moving around, everyone would have been there, right? Including the father. So he would have heard it, right? If Eve heard it, then he would have heard it too. And maybe he would have got up and done something. So was there another opportunity to do this? Also, we know that the paper was used and it said, remember, it's our secret or whatever, right? I don't know. It's going to bug me because I want to solve it. I don't want to just go through the hints. Okay, I'm not going to read the answer, but I will go through Sue's clues or whatever. So Sue's whereabouts. Oh my gosh, she has so many. Okay, trace Sue's movements. Kind of have a general idea of it. We're told that Sue went to the park with Eve, then to the restaurant with the family, then the Lemon Club with Stubby, and then to Henley with Stubby for the remainder of the weekend. But they didn't take the saxophones with them. But this is unverified? Oh yeah, he's the, no one else said anything about that. Is there any way? Oh, there is a way to verify it because she left her card in the Henley branch or something. So she did go there. Yeah, a loyalty card was found. And okay, who does this belong to? It belongs to her. That's her old name. Yep, she was telling the truth. Have we got enough evidence to eliminate Sue from the suspect list at this stage? No. Okay, why was Sue quick to take Eve's drawing? Because it's that deal that she's trying to make. Check the reverse side of the drawing, blah, blah, blah. Where else have we seen these people in titles mentioned? Oh, it was, she got part ownership. Is in the magazine. Yep, it's a joint company. See his signature and company name. How could this be considered a motive? Because she wants to make the deal, but he didn't want to. He was adamant that his wouldn't appear on commercials, but Sue had other ideas. So did Sue have a window of opportunity to plant the reed? Remember, it's our secret, our little secret, or whatever. That's the only thing that's tripping me. Okay, yes, Sue's statement doesn't appear to be 100% accurate. Sue appears to have had time to plant the reed between Stubby leaving for the park and Eve arriving from school. Is this enough evidence to charge Sue with murder, or do we need more evidence that links her to the reed? Oh my gosh, okay, so did they just give it away? Maybe I calculated wrong. Maybe she didn't take the pills that night. And it is weird that she doesn't mention hearing someone at 2. But then if she was knocked out, that makes sense. Okay, let me count again. Oh, I counted it wrong. If I counted it correctly, I would have immediately suspected her because she's the only one who doesn't mention hearing someone at 2 a.m. Okay, well, I mean, looking through the hints, it kind of told us already that she lied or had an opportunity. All right, well, I kind of read more than I wanted to in the hints, so I did think she had a strong motive. For Esther, it's just kind of like, yeah, I hate him, but she did text like, I want something about wanting him dead, like she's gonna do it. And what was that paper bag all about? I don't know. Okay. Let's go with Sue. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Stubby Hackett's murderer found. You guys can go ahead and pause if you want to read, but I'll just probably skim through and mention some highlights here. So I guess she did try to frame Laura, planting the poison reed moments before Eve's scheduled arrival from school. So maybe she, just wrote, it's our little secret. Yeah, she could have just done that, right? I guess I didn't think about that. Okay, so I guess her lies are in the doorbell footage, right? In the records. Yeah, so the unknown person was Dana Quint, as we thought. And she got some spit from the tenor sax case. So for Esther, timeline of events came to her rescue. Okay, yeah. I was saying like if Roland was home that night too, there's no way either the creaky stairs or this doorbell on the studio door. Forgot about that. So I think for everyone else, we kind of know. I mean, I guess for Esther, she was there that night, but so was Roland. So there's no way she could have snuck in, right? But for Sue, I just need to know how the doorbell cam records prove that she was lying or had an opportunity or something. So the note saying it's our little secret was smothered in peanut oil. She made the note to frame Laura and Eve. The note contained distinct markings caused by dirty, inky rollers on the printer that had been used to print the note. And the same markings can be seen in Sue's letter to her friend. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's very clever, very tricky. I don't think I would have ever caught that. So Sue also lies in her statement. So one person was alone in the house between the time when Stubby played his alto sax and the time when he played it for the final time. Sue says that Laura and Eve turned up a matter of seconds after Ro left for the park. After reviewing the denong analysis, it's clear to see that a much longer period of time elapsed. Okay, that's what I missed. Icing on the cake was a missing EpiPen, a fact that Sue had chosen to omit in her own police statement. It was left for your imagination to guess why that might have gone missing. All right, that'll do it for the case. Not my best performance. I was tricked a little by Sue. She was trying to frame Laura, and I did see that the little connections there, and that completely threw me off towards the end. I actually ended up trying to guess them. Then when I knew it wasn't Laura, because I already guessed her, it was obviously down to 2, and I just couldn't find that smoking gun. I definitely had the pieces there. I just needed to look at that doorbell analysis a little bit longer, a little bit closer. Also just realized that there's no way Esther could sneak in while Roland was home, and that would have been her only opportunity to do so. I don't know. I mean, it definitely is a difficulty. They said 4.5 out of 5. It is probably one of the more difficult ones that I played. So yeah, anyways, maybe you guys caught things I didn't. Maybe you guys solved it. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a like. If you love mystery games, go check out the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. There's a QR code right here if you want to help support the channel, or there's a link down below in the description to buy me a coffee. Any amount really does help, whether it's to buy games, equipment. If this is my last video of the year, again, I want to wish you guys a happy holidays and a happy new year. And I guess I'll see you next year.